Oh, have you heard about the device that can accumulate human energy and store it and then use it for psychic purposes? You know, the one the CIA wrote about that Russia made? Oh, I'm sure you didn't, because I did not either. And I have a deep dive for you. Okay, so I'm writing a book on what I'm calling plasma intelligence, which is the fourth state of matter and how it has metaphysical properties. What I think that is the same thing they're writing about here, which is how I stumbled across this, a little deep web internet search. And I found the information very interesting. And you probably never would have stumbled upon this unless you were looking up what I am, which no one does, which is a word called bioplasma, which is what the CIA was thinking meant human energy, or what I say is the soul. So here is the CIA document. It is like 70 pages or something. They're studying here telepathy in animals and people, remote viewing, the airport technique, which is very interesting, and I'll say that for another video. And more importantly, the psychotronic generator. They also have what's called the psychotronic model of man. I think you guys might have seen some of these symbols in ancient books or teachings. Feel free to do your own deep dive here. Okay, so basically the actual generator pictures have been redacted from this, and it's definitely not this big. It was made from a man named Robert Pavlita. I cannot find information on him anywhere. And it is a small device that is capable of drawing energy from humans, capable of drawing biological energy from humans. The energy is accumulated and stored for future use. Once charged with human energy, the generators can do some of the things a psychic person can. And the individuals that it charges the human energy from don't need to be psychic themselves. That's crazy. This is so funny to me that our government looks up this stuff, because not everyone, but people will come on my page and laugh. And it's like, guys, the government's spending millions of dollars researching this stuff. Obviously, yes, for national security, but also magic's real. Okay, so what is so interesting about this? They even talk about here how this concept of human energy dates back to chi or prana. It's also been called odic force, etheric force, animal magnetism, N-force, which was Newton force, which I think is still in physics. I believe there's more information about some of these psychic discoveries and papers in this book. It's just like $45 and I don't want to pay for that. But feel free to screenshot this if this subject interests you, because this is all about the parapsychology in Russia and all these experiments. So one insane thing here is it says that it enhances plant growth. So does plasma. Look it up. I'm telling you, plasma is the same thing here. And they literally call it, by the way, bioplasma. I will show you where. Oh, they were also concerned this could be used as a weapon because it couldn't be used for good or bad. It said that it could also make people discomforted or dizzy, but it also gave off psychic effects and positive things. So once again, like plasma or this neutral force, your intention can impress things on it to make it good or bad, which is why it's definitely being hidden from the general public. Oh, here we go. According to Soviet and Czechoslovakian parapsychology, the energy is called bioplasmic or psychotronic energy. So when we talk about the generator, we can just literally call it a bioplasma generator, which is once again the human soul or human energy. This is the only image I could find on the actual declassified site. It had to do with, I guess, put bioplasmic rotor here. People actually do use this, and they put like tinfoil on it, and then they put their hand on it, and if certain people who can focus can actually move the tinfoil in a vortex. They were saying that people can do this when you concentrate your energy, which is literally magic. But it's basically our brain, the electromagnetic waves are bumping up against the electrostaticness of an inorganic material, and the interaction of that causes the vortex or makes it move. I have a whole nother video about that. It's very interesting. And just type telekinesis in the comments if you want that video, because it's a deep dive as well based on these papers. So Robert Pavlita, this is the most interesting part of this video. I should have started with this. He stated that why his machine worked, and he worked on this for 30 years without the government knowing, by the way. He stated that the secret's in the form. So basically, really quick, some background. What happened was he was working on this for a long time, and then the government found out he was doing this stuff, and they kind of like took them up. You won't find anything about it basically online besides in the CIA papers. And if you do, I really want to know if you find this Robert guy. And he said that he got this idea by studying very old texts. When they asked which ones, the Czechs smiled and said, "We're sorry, we can't tell you that." The generators were not fully patented yet. I looked up a patent, by the way. That was in 1994. But I think this might have been in the 70s. But anyway, he said the secret of the generators is in their form. That is the key thing that Pavlida talked about in his studies. It is the shape that lets you accumulate this energy and turn it into whatever purposes you want. I'm going to figure this out in the future. Obviously, this has to do with sacred geometry. It also had to do with the use of copper, iron, gold, steel, brass. A lot of people, by the way, that studied plasma also studied metallurgy, it's called. There is a huge link with steel and copper and these metals and plasma and how to harness them. My dog just sneezed. They also compared it to Reichenbach's idea of an otoscope or an otic force, which is an all-pervasive energy, plasma, which this is the otic force. He compared it to animal magnetism. It also had to do with the god Odin. There's literally a whole little ancient book. You could download the PDF of this for free. He talks about everything from ghosts, to crystals, to electricity. I mean, this is like plasma magic, guys. Also, I guess the patents were eventually filed in the 90s. This is one of them that directly is linked to this generator that is called bioenergy treatment. You can look it up on Google. It talks about healing people with sound and a programmable magnetic field. And then there's another one called Method of Psychotronics and Device for its Implementation. I cannot find anywhere, once again, what it looked like. I just know that it was filed in the 90s. This is another thing that's kind of, I think, inspired by all this stuff. It was an orgone accumulator. This is what it looked like. And this had to do with accumulating this energy as well, which I call plasma. They call it ether. Oh, and with this patent, they were saying that they could heal, human organs, treat injuries. There's no money in this, right? Sorry, medical field does not like this. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bioplasma machine. Okay, so this is like the most interesting thing I came across. So when they were talking about verifying his testings, obviously this had to do with geometry. Albert Einstein even stated the next breakthrough in physics would be in geometry. Once again, Pavlidis stated that the secret's in the form to harvest this energy. Harness, not harvest. And this new geometry is hidden in 3D for the machine. This is all I could find on the machine. The geometry would be of interest to those interested in New Age subjects like Kabbalah, Tarot, or I Ching. Besides showing how the limits of 12 quarks and the limits of 232 crystal symmetry limits were derived, this new geometry shows, again, hidden in 3D, the source of these subjects as well. I have no idea what this part means. He stated the secret is a new way of looking at geometry. The key to geometry is the relationship of equal-sized balls, lines, and points, therefore spheres becoming an impossibility in geometry itself. It is fundamentally 3D geometry. It differs in some respects to sphere packing. Understand that what you see with your eyes creates a flat picture. In order to go forward, you must construct a model. And then it kind of tells you like how to construct some model so you'll understand what the heck they're talking about. I don't have time to do that right now. They also related to the Star of David, which if we go back, I think it has something to do with this. Feel free to screenshot and read this yourself because I'm running out of time, but they talk about the torus representing the reality you wake up to each morning. The central ball is the central reality. So the torus ball, you sense the other balls as energy or emotion. What science defines as force relates to the four balls that are adjacent. Science measures these balls as gravity, electromagnetism, strong and weak. In reality, and as it relates to the torus, there are 11 other forces. But these four are disguised by them. Then it kind of makes fun of scientists. Honestly, I don't really know what they're saying here. All I know is that the word torus is also T-O-R-U-S, which has to do with literal plasma and how they harness plasma in fusion. I think there's a correlation here. Main thing is there was a machine that harvested human energy. Harnessed. And we can make it again. Woo!